What is going on, Eternal Fruit family? Once again, your favorite podcast here. We are your hosts, Alex
Adriana.
and we are bringing you something that I know is gonna help some of you guys because it has helped me so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like I'm finally walking away from today's topic, which is overcoming fear.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's one of the biggest things too, is like learning that fear is like a stronghold on us, because I struggle with that too, and I never realized it until like
Yeah.
this year as well.
Yeah, no, I think you reminded me that I touched on it a couple episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
How I've like through getting closer to God and just being able to trust Him more with my life, I've overcame the fear of death.
Yeah.
You know, because I used to kind of be like, if something happened, I would automatically think the worst, right? But now I'm just like, you know, if it's time, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll just tell myself, like, no, there's still more. Like, God isn't done with me yet. Like, there's no way He will be done with me right now.
And I realized I had that fear too, and I've been letting it go too, because recently, like, there's been like, oh, something like every person or every time I've talked to someone, it's like, oh, death. And like before, I would think like, oh my gosh, they've said, like, I've been surrounded with people that like keep talking about death, so that means I'm gonna die. Like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Like, when am I gonna die? Or this is the last month that I'm gonna be here, or whatever. It's so extreme, and like now I'm to the point where I'm like, so what if I die, man? Like, I know where I'm going.
Or you don't let those thoughts consume you like fully. You know, now
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, okay, you know. Or another fear that I had was, like insecurities. Right, I was fearful of doing stuff like this, like being on camera, or I don't want to say center of attention.
Yes.
But
the
center of attention at the end of the day, you know, like
yeah.
I would hate just all eyes on me, you know. Now I don't care. Now I can talk to anybody and I'm chilling, you know. So it's just, I think it has to do a lot with chapters of your life or seasons in your life, right? Because God definitely has worked that in me, and through that He's been able to, like, you know, slowly but steady start putting me in different positions and different places that I know I need to be in, you know. And if I would have kept that fear of not, of like thinking less of me, like I would not be in these places.
Exactly.
You know, like I know for a fact that if I would have stayed insecure and fearful, like I would probably wouldn't have joined Keller Williams Preferred, and I would have stayed where I was, because I wasn't really talking to anybody, right? And now, like, I've met so many great people that it's been a lot easier for me to actually carry out those conversations and initiate conversations, which was a big struggle that I had for the same fact of fear, you know?
Yeah, and I will say, I think I was talking to you about this like a while back. I don't know if you remember, but like when we had the worship night at church, I was seeing like all the teenagers and like how they were just like they were sitting next to each other, but they were like this, or like on their phones, or with headphones on.
Oh yeah, you did.
And I was like, dude, like I remember being like their age, and I was scared to talk to people. And now that I'm older, I'm like, why was I so scared? Like, I was just worried about me. And like, I was like, dude, everybody is their own world. Like, your mind, your brain is your own world. Mine is my own world. And like, nobody cares. Truly, nobody cares. And so, like, in your world, it's like, oh my gosh, it's the biggest deal. Yeah. But to that person, it's like, dude, I don't care.
Everybody's staring at me. Everybody's judging. Yeah. Which is not the deal at all, right?
Exactly.
Like, Abby told me, like, nobody cares about you that much. You know, not in a rude way, but it's true. Like, nobody cares about me that much to where I need to be, like, timid of what people are thinking. Like, nobody's looking at me. And if they are, like, whatever, you know? It is what it is. But that's something that I struggled with, but I'm overcoming. I don't want to say I fully been over it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm getting to that point. You
Yeah.
know, like now it's a lot easier for me to communicate with other people, even with people that are that are doing better than me. It was harder back then, you know, but now it's like now I want to speak to those people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I get to learn a lot,
Exactly.
and it kind of gets like to pointing me into the direction where I want to go with life.
Exactly. And when you're stuck in fear, like you're not gonna go anywhere.
Anywhere,
Literally.
bro.
Yeah. And it says in the Bible that God didn't give us the spirit of fear. How are we supposed to preach to other people or minister to other people if we're just worried about ourselves, you know?
And you have the Holy Spirit in you, but you're also carrying a spirit that isn't even from God.
Exactly.
You know, so you gotta again tap in with the Holy Spirit and let that like show out to the world.
Yeah. And one verse that like really helped me with that is in Jeremiah. I know I always go to Jeremiah, but God
that's your book,
always
bruh.
yeah, he always speaks to me through the prophet Jeremiah or the book Jeremiah and really his life. Like I really recommend this book that someone wrote about Jeremiah's life. It's called Running with Horses, I think. I'm gonna have to look it up and put it correctly right here, but it's a really good book and it talks about his life and how God used him to like show him different things. But like I was saying, one thing that like God takes me to is Jeremiah, and in the Jeremiah 1 verse 7 he says, "But the Lord says to me, do not say I am too young. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord." And that really reminds me of like how I shouldn't be scared to talk to people or to put myself out there of like getting rejected or hurt, because no matter what, God is with me, and if he can change the Pharaoh's heart when Moses was like asking to free Israel, he can change whoever is in front of you's heart as well.
Absolutely, man. And when you touch on rejection, like I've heard, like for people that are scared of rejection, right, or scared of hearing no's, like each no, how does it go? Every no, I think, it just gets you. It's just getting closer to a yes, you know. And once you start thinking about it like that, instead of, oh man, they just said no, I don't want to ask anybody else because they're just gonna say no. Like, no, you gotta stay persistent and keep going, you know, because all it takes is that one yes. Just like it takes you saying yes to God and it changing your life forever, that one yes that somebody can give you can change your life as well.
Exactly.
You know? Not as much as God changing your life, but through that yes, it can make a world of a difference.
And if it's think about it this way, if it's meant from God, it will happen. And if it's a no, it's just God protecting you from something that shouldn't have happened yet.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like with this, how me personally, I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to put myself out there like this, right? But when I think about it, it's like, bro, once it's up, like uploaded and it's there, it's there.
There's no going back.
There's no going back. It doesn't matter what anybody says, you know. Thankfully, it's all been positive feedback from everybody for us. But even if it's negative feedback, like you see it with everybody else, right? Every celebrity, there's always a lot of people that showing love, but then there's those who are just judging or just leaving negative comments, like. So now, to me, like, I'm not saying like we're celebrities or anything, but if it ever gets to a point where somebody leaves a negative comment, I know it won't affect me, right? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm not doing this to just glorify me or bring credit to me. Like, I'm doing this to spread God's word and to spread how God can change people's lives, how He's changed my life, and how He's bettered my life. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. And I don't know, I always get scared too of like, oh, like comments or this. And like you said, once your face is out there, like you can't change your face. Like once people see it, that's you. Like that's literally your impression in the world.
I know a plastic surgeon, so nah, I'm just kidding.
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
get
Shamada, what's his name?
yeah, Chamada. Dr.
That's funny.
Chamada, which off topic, his new office is
It's
insanely
just
nice,
sick.
bro. It's sick.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
where his sister works, Gabby.
Yeah.
Shout out, Gabby.
Hey, we need a lip filler, bro. I don't believe in that stuff, but I got $100 off for you. Just
Oh my god.
slide up and let me know, you know?
No, we're not getting paid for this, Ali. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not asking for money. I'm just saying
No, I'm
I got a
kidding.
little
He got the
discount,
hookup.
you know? For 2 people only. That's all I have. But yeah,
Oh my
man,
God.
you just gotta let go of fear and let go of the idea of what others might say about you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like Aaron Rodgers said it best, right? Huge Aaron Rodgers fan.
I was in back
he-
in the day.
Yeah, he said, he's like, why would you care? Dang, I forgot how it goes. Basically, like,
It
why
happens.
would I care about somebody critiquing me who isn't in the place where I want to be or where I want to go? You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's like you want to, I don't know, you want to learn how to start house flipping, and somebody who has never touched that but just has heard like, hey man, you might lose a lot of money, like don't do it.
Mhm.
You know, like they don't do it, they've never done it, they don't even care to do it, but they're already telling you not to do it, and you believe in that, and then you're not gonna do it.
Exactly. And it's like whenever we're watching soccer and we're like, man, what an idiot. Why didn't he pass it to that person? It's like, dude, we're not on the field, bro. We're not even on the sideline.
We're not even that good. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. So who are we to be talking and like being like, oh my God, what an idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
you think they're gonna take? You think Messi or Cristiano are gonna take advice from us?
They
They're not,
should.
you know. But I will coach them. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, same with like you. Like,
Yeah.
stop letting other people's words affect you and point you a different direction from what you know you want.
Mhm.
You know, like God put that in your heart for a reason. So why let what other people are saying hold you back or
Exactly.
stop you? And we emphasize this so much, I feel. Like, just put it in God's hands. Lock in and let him work. As you're working, he's also working.
Mhm.
You know? And the way I like to think about it is that door you want open, that you want to go to, like, God is already there waiting for you. You know, as long as it lines up with his will, he's already there just waiting for you.
Exactly.
You know, so don't let fear hold you back or create a detour from where you already know you want to go. You know, just give it to God and just trust. Most importantly, trust that he's already taking you and we're literally waiting for you there.
I think one of the conversations we had a while back, it was really good, but I don't know if you want to touch on it, but it was like,
Maybe. I don't know what you're talking about.
no, but it was like when you realized where your fear stemmed from. It was
Oh, yeah. A couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you, like, if you want to talk about it,
Uh,
how did you realize, like, where your fear stemmed from? Because a lot of the times fear isn't something that we have. It's something that we learned. Like, for example, phobias is not an actual fear. It's something that you learned. Like, I'm scared of bees and snakes. And the reason I know I have a phobia of bees because whenever I was little, I went to Disney World and I went with my grandma and I was maybe like 4. I was with my whole family, but specifically I remember my grandma being there and I was maybe like 4 and I had a bee on my neck, but I was like chill. I wasn't scared yet. And my grandma was scared because one, I had never gotten stung by a bee. 2, I was little, and 3, we were out of like state. We weren't home. And she was like, oh my gosh, what if she's, allergic? She could die. She's so little. It's on her neck. Like, it could just close up her throat. So my grandma, thinking all these things, she straight up just goes, Foom. And when she went like that, the bee stung her. And in that moment, her fingers swelled up so bad that we had to leave. They took her to the emergency and they had to like inject stuff and like hydrate her and stuff. So I was like traumatized with that. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's the way to ruin a trip.
Yeah, no, just that day. No, I'm kidding. No, but in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like bees are my biggest enemy.
Yeah.
I never want to get stung by a bee, which sadly I did. I'm not allergic, thank God, but I was still freaking out the day that I got stung. So most of the time fear is kind of like learned or taught. So
Yeah.
if your parents tell you don't do this, like that's where a lot of the times fear stems from, or like not specifically your parents, but like other examples, your siblings, your aunts, or whoever's closest to you. So that's why I was asking you, do you kind of want to go into how you figured out?
I could talk about it a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, I realized I don't know when it was, if it was last month or like December, but yeah, I kind of came to realize like most of my fears come from like my dad, right? Because he's also like very, and I don't want to sound bad. Like I love my dad, obviously, and he means a lot. He's done a lot for us, right? But he could be very pessimistic, you know, and through that, I've also been like, well, I'll tend to look at it as like the what is it, the cup is half empty
Oh yeah, instead of
instead of
half full.
yeah, instead of half full, and I've been like that all my life. And when I want to try something new, it's like the half empty thoughts just come kicking in, and then I'll put an excuse as to why I can't do it or why I won't do it. And because I've been trying to like do something new with my dad and that's gonna benefit him, but he just sees like again the half empty.
Yeah.
Like I can't get him, like I can't find a way to like convince or anything, right? But it's through that where I've finally realized like, dang, that's where it comes from, you know? And that's what has helped me grow too. And it's all God. It's literally all God who has like helped me realize that. And it wasn't in the physical eye, you know, it was through the spiritual eyes that I was able to see that and say, you know what, like again, I love my dad, but like, I'm not gonna be like that anymore, you know, because I was, but not anymore, you know. So I, like you said, like realize where it comes from, you know. And there's a whole backstory to that, obviously, from my dad, and that just takes me to healing as well. Like you gotta heal things, excuse me, in order to be able to overcome them, right? And that's also another thing, and maybe that's a talk for another day. But another thing that I know, like, is a root. I guess it's a root of that, and to an extent, you can argue it's a generational curse.
Yeah.
Right, but because we haven't saved, you know, and by the blood of the Lamb, we're able to break those curses, you know. So,
Amen.
so you gotta like realize where things stem from. You know, you gotta talk to God about it. You gotta close those doors. You gotta break those chains off, and just know that fear. Like what did Brandon Lake said? Fear is not my future. You are. I think that's how the song goes.
I have no idea what song
No,
you're talking about.
yeah,
No.
I think that's how it goes. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But shout out Brandon Lake. But yeah, bro, fear is not gonna be my future anymore. You know, like I don't want to carry that on to my kids, right? Like I want my like my mom always said, if you want to, you can even be the president, right? And I used to just hear that as a kid, and I was like, yeah, okay. But now it's like, bro, whatever. As long as you have God with you, man, you could become whatever the heck you feel like becoming, you know. And again, as long as you put in the work too. But do you think you could be, as if you have God with you, but you're also bottled up with fear? How far do you think you'll get? You know, because if you think about it, God's kind of working on you and trying to help you get to places, but there's like fears, like a certain, like a wall that's just there blocking him to keep working on you, you know, because you're letting, because God's not a forcer, you know, and he doesn't control us. Like we have free will. So if we're gonna let fear overtake us, God, and I'm not saying I'm right? This is just all I'm like in my head. Like God's probably gonna just be like, all right, like I'm already telling you to overcome this, like how to do it. But
He's giving you the tools.
Yeah, but you keep neglecting and rejecting it, you know. because I had to have a talk with my dad as well. Um, that I delayed. I'm gonna be honest. Like I delayed a couple weeks, right? But once I did it, like there was so much pressure off of me, and I let go of that fear. And rejection was a huge one, But now, like, I don't care, bro. If I get a no, then I get a no. As long as I connect with people, then that's all that matters, because that even though that you gotta know that relationship, that bonding can give you a yes to somebody else that they know. It's like if I try to sell you something, you tell me no, and you're like, oh, but I know somebody that might need what you're selling, then that says yes. But if I'm too scared to even ask you, then I'll never get that yes from the other person, even though I get a no from you. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just realizing where all this fear stems from and just breaking that curse off and just trusting God.
No, I agree. And one thing that I like that you said is like when God is giving you I said tools, right? But
Yeah.
whenever God is giving you the tools and you're still like, nah, like you delayed it, in a sense, like I feel like fear is doubting. Because you're doubting God because you're so consumed by like what you're thinking instead of God being like, hey, I already told you that that's not going to happen or it's not like that. So just believe me. Why are you still scared?
Exactly. So, it's like if, like this wall, for example, it was like, let's say like God definitely blessed us, right? Because I used to work at Sherwin-Williams. I got a couple hookups, a couple connects, if you need paint, let me know.
Lip filler and paint, hit them up.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm the middleman, but I'm just kidding. But he blessed us with great pricing, right, on paint and brushes and all the tools we needed for this. But what if we would have said, you know what, this podcast isn't gonna, like, it's not gonna reach anyone, or we're gonna mess up because we're not painters. Like, we would have never started. We wouldn't even be doing, like, putting this out right now, right?
Exactly.
But like, maybe one day we'll show y'all like how all this turned out. It's not perfect, but we did it, and we did that out of obedience, and again, not doubting God, right? We may have doubted ourselves, but we didn't doubt God, so we still did it. And even though it's not perfect, like it got the job done, and now we're here. This couch, these mics, everything, like it's just God putting the pieces together. As long as he can trust you with this piece, then he'll bring this other piece and connect everything.
Exactly. And like you said, like it's little by little. It's not like all in one, And like, yeah, it's definitely not perfect. If you look at it close up or even like the edges that we don't have on camera, you're going to be like, oh, dang, yeah, they're definitely not painters. But like little by little, God blessed us and gave us these ideas to do this. And we've mentioned it many times before where we're like, let's just delete it all. Pretend it never happened.
We were never here.
Yeah, literally no digital footprint. So, yeah, like if we would have listened to our fears, our thoughts of like, hey, my face is out there or my voice or whatever, then we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, and this is just like to think about how many people have messages like being thankful for it. It means a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, without God, we wouldn't be here. Like, we wouldn't be anything, right? So it just takes you getting out of your circle, or out of your bubble, sorry, and just going for it, and that it just takes that one moment of you realizing fear doesn't control me, to realize like, man, you know what? I could do this. Now I can do that. Like, I was able to do this. Well, first of all, I'll start with off the camera and just the mics, right? We were able to do that. And thanks to that, now I was able to, you know what? I'm on the camera. What's different? There's just a camera now, right? And through this, I've been able to do videos for real estate, which that was probably my biggest fear, right? But through that, I've been able to do that as well. And what is that going to do? That's going to help me grow my business, reach out to more people, help more people. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to serve others, right? And help others. And through letting go of that fear, I've been able to meet like amazing people and connect with so many people, which back then I wouldn't even have spoken to those people
Mm-hmm.
unless they spoke to me first, you know? And even then, I would have been like a man of few words. But now, bro, I just ask and I ask, and I even have a house to go to stay in when I go to Spain.
That's crazy.
You know, there's a family that we met who said, yeah, whenever y'all come, like we'll go pick y'all up and y'all can stay here.
That's awesome.
You know, and it was through letting go of fear and just speaking, bro. At the end of the day, like we're all human, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me, we shouldn't let fear control us because you miss out on so many opportunities,
Exactly.
you know, and that's why they say like, um, how does it go? Like you might know, or you could correct me. Like, I think like in the cemetery is where the most opportunities are, or basically
I don't know.
like people who didn't do what they wanted to and then they died, like their ideas just stayed there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it just stayed with them because they were probably too scared to do it, you know. Like just think about that, like let that sink in. Like what if your idea is the next $1 billion idea, you know? What if you're the next Apple or the next Amazon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, just do it. Like, even if it takes 5-10 years, you're gonna get there.
Exactly.
You know, like just start. That's what a lot of people man, I had the idea and then I just forgot it. But like with the car detailing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to do it for a little bit, but then COVID came and all that. And then I used to always think like, no, I need to have everything. Like I need to have a generator. I need to have the water tank.
Like the best.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
need to have everything. Like people aren't gonna let me connect to their water hose, connect to their electricity. Like they're just not. I need to have everything. And so I wasn't. I was always turning people away because I was like, I was too scared to ask if I can connect, use their water and light, right?
Yeah.
Bro, people do not care. Like people will let you, you know, as long as you do a great job or a good job, like they will let you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the more you do it, like the more you could save up to then buy that generator, to then buy that water tank. But by that time, you're already making so much money that you can afford to buy those things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it just took you letting go of that fear of asking, like you said, and being scared of getting a no. Like nobody has the people that I actually went to go like detail their cars. None of them said no, you know. And I remember one time I made in a week I made what I made in 2 weeks at Sherwin.
Dang, that's
You know,
crazy.
I don't know. I might pick it back up. I don't know. Who knows?
Hit him up. Hit him up. No, yeah, I think it's just like really like once you get started, it's not about having the best things. Like I remember like when we first started doing this, we started recording on the little mics on my phone and like I was like, man, it's because we just need the best things, the
Dang,
best
for
things.
real.
Remember, like
Yeah.
we started with little mics on my phone. I'm not saying like we're like the biggest podcast, but like compared
Yeah.
to where we are now,
What were your favorite?
yeah,
Egg.
we know that already. No, I'm kidding. But compared to where we are now, where we even have the confidence to show our face, because back
Yeah.
then, even if we did have a camera, we would have been like, nah, because we both are like, we don't want to show our faces.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, like now that we have like all this, it just takes us back to where like, man, like we literally started with what we had, and we pushed through that fear to now like have that confidence, and God has like blessed us with way
Yeah.
more than we asked for. And it's not like confidence because I will say I struggle with that, but like it's better than it was before, to where like now I at least like can get over the fear of like, okay, like I'm on camera, I'm cringing.
Yeah.
But
Cringy.
yeah, no, so
Yeah,
it's just,
and we still don't even have the best tools.
yeah, we know how,
Right?
yeah,
But
100%.
yeah, but we're working with what we have, you know, we're
Mhm.
grateful for what we have. And like she said, like just slowly getting rid of that fear. And like she's able to see herself like how she can actually be comfortable, you know? Like
Yeah.
once you start going, like that fear just, it's not until after and then you replay everything where we're like, dang, I don't know, man. I don't know how that looks. I don't know how that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just about starting.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't start, then you're never going to get anywhere. Just start. And like we said, like God's going to provide the tools for you that you need to get to where you want to go.
Exactly. So don't listen to the fear. Don't listen to the voice that's telling you, like, oh, you're not meant to be here. Because I was telling Alex before we started this that something that the enemy, like, attacks me in is, like, I just stumbled upon Christianity. Like, I just happened to be here. When it's like, no, like again, God takes me back to Jeremiah, and it's Jeremiah 1, and he says, Jeremiah 1:5 is, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. That's what he says, right? So it just, like, reminds me of, like, no, I didn't stumble upon Christianity. God really did, like, call me. He healed me. He chose me, and, like, he chose every one of his children. And as long as you answer him, like, he's like, you're chosen. You know what I mean? Like, because we can all, like, say, like, oh, I'm Christian, but my lifestyle or my actions say otherwise. Being Christian isn't just going to church or seeing, like, online. Like, being Christian is actually, like, putting in the work. Like we said last episode, I think, like, praying, reading your Bible, fasting, doing everything behind the scenes, not, like, recording yourself reading the Bible, recording yourself, like, doing everything. It's not about that. It's about actually doing it behind the scenes where no one sees you, so that God can exalt you in front of people. You don't seek the being exalted. God gives it to you because he knows how much work you're putting in behind the scenes.
Yeah, that was... If that can be further from the truth, bro.
Exactly.
I think I said that wrong.
I don't know, man. I'm not that great.
But that's so true.
English.
What you said is very powerful and so true, man. Because God does see what you're doing. Even if you don't feel like he does or that he is, like, he is watching you and he's cheering for you.
He's always watching.
Just like you believe in him, he believes in you, you know? So walk with that confidence, man. Walk with that faith, and watch how far he takes you.
Exactly. But I think this is gonna be it for this episode, unless you have something else to add.
Nah, I'm good.
Just don't listen to the fears. All I gotta ask.
Yeah.
And just don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, message us, Alex, me, or the Eternal Fruit page. You know, we have all three available. If you guys have any comments or topics or even questions that y'all want, like, off camera or any help with, like, we're definitely open to helping. And like we said at the beginning of when we started all this, back when we were casting seeds, it was like, we just want to build a community of followers, and, like, not like a cult type thing, but like a followers of Christ. And like, if y'all need any help, like, we're definitely here with what we can help with. Obviously, like, we're not experts at everything, but whatever we can help with, we will. So, like I said, don't forget to leave that like, that comment, and turn on those notifications, subscribe, so that y'all know every single time we post. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.